Trump scores huge victory for pro-lifers. Puts Planned Parenthood in its place. In a crucial reversal of former President Barack Obama's pro-abortion policy, President Donald Trump recently signed legislation that would allow states to withhold funding from clinics that provide abortions. The resolution, H.J. Res. 43, was approved by the Senate at the end of March by a vote of 51-50, with Vice President Mike Pence casting the tie-breaking vote. On April 13, Trump signed the measure into law, allowing states to block federal funds from going to abortion clinics, including abortion giant Planned Parenthood, according to the Daily Caller. Under Obama's pro-abortion policy, states did not have the authority to choose which health centers received federal Title X funding based on abortion services. Title X, part of the United States Public Health Service Act, was enacted to provide family planning services. Under Obama, the Department of Health and Human Services prohibited recipients of Title X grants from excluding a clinic from receiving funding based on anything other than its ability to provide family planning services, according to a White House press release. In other words, if a clinic, such as Planned Parenthood, offered any family planning services, as well as abortions, and otherwise qualified for the Title X grant, a state could not disqualify that clinic because of its abortion services. Now, individual states have the authority to determine which clinics receive those funds, as they should, not just because of pro-life beliefs, but also because of states' rights. Seema Verma, administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, pointed to the legislation as proof that the president was keeping his campaign promises, referring to Trump's vow to support pro-life and states' rights policies if elected. It's an important step for the administration that shows they want states to be in charge of the decision-making, Verma told reporters. Penny Nance, the CEO of Concerned Women for America, also applauded Trump's signing of the bill, as it allows more funding to go to other health centers that provide needed services for women and families, but do not perform abortions. We have been clear we want to shift funding from Planned Parenthood to community health centers, Nance said. House Speaker Paul Ryan also commended the legislation for undoing a law that essentially forced millions of taxpayers to pay for services they disagreed fault with. H.J. Res. 43 voids a regulation that forces states to use Title X money to fund Planned Parenthood. Taxpayers should not be forced to fund abortion, plain and simple, Ryan said in a statement. In fact, the abortion giant's most recent annual report shows that federal tax money actually comprised 43% of its total funding, equaling an astonishing, and disturbing, $553 million of taxpayer money. The measure Trump signed would almost certainly see a large decrease in those funds, particularly in socially conservative states. Like and share this article on Facebook and Twitter if you're glad that President Trump signed this anti-Planned Parenthood bill into law. What do you think about the measure President Trump just signed that will likely defund Planned Parenthood clinics across the country? Scroll down to comment below. Boom, Trump just made a massive move on 9 sanctuary jurisdictions. It's happening. The Trump administration's Justice Department stepped up its warnings to sanctuary cities Friday by demanding that 9 sanctuary jurisdictions either follow the law or risk losing federal grants. The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation was among those notified, as were Chicago, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Las Vegas, Miami, Milwaukee, New York City, and Cook County, Ill. We're pleading with the cities, let's don't have a fight over this, said Attorney General Jeff Sessions. So I hope we don't tend into a fight, but we're perfectly willing to do whatever I can to ensure that we have the kind of unified effort that protects America. However, the letters sent to the 9 jurisdictions spoke of penalties if cooperation does not take place. Failure to comply with this condition could result in the withholding of grant funds, suspension or termination of the grant, ineligibility for future Office of Justice programs, grants or subgrants, or other action, as appropriate, wrote Acting Assistant Attorney General Alan R. Hardin. Hardin's letter said all those that were notified need to prove in writing to the Justice Department they are in compliance with federal law. All of the jurisdictions targeted have policies in place that bar local police agencies or jails from assisting federal agencies with immigration enforcement. In a statement, the Justice Department said the cities are crumbling under the weight of illegal immigration and violent crime, citing the increase in gang violence in New York City and the continued rise in murders in Chicago. The statement also said the jurisdictions have badly skewed priorities. And just several weeks ago in California's Bay Area, after a raid captured 11 MS-13 members on charges including murder, extortion and drug trafficking, city officials seemed more concerned with reassuring illegal immigrants that the raid was unrelated to immigration than with warning other MS-13 members that they were next, the statement said. Ever since President Donald Trump took office, he and Sessions have sought to convince sanctuary cities to partner with the federal government or face the consequences. Trump issued an executive order in January that threatened to cut funding to cities that refuse to cooperate. Sanctuary jurisdictions across the United States willfully violate federal law in an attempt to shield aliens from removal from the United States. These jurisdictions have caused immeasurable harm to the American people and to the very fabric of our republic, Trump's order said. Only Miami, among major metro areas, said it would drop its sanctuary policy. In late March, Sessions sent a second warning. The American people know that when cities and states refuse to help enforce immigration laws, our nation is less safe, Sessions said. Such policies cannot continue. They make our nation less safe by putting dangerous criminals back on the street. Sessions, at that time, warned that the Justice Department could either cut off funding to cities that do not comply, or claw back funding already granted. China just did something for Trump they never did for Obama. Did you support this move? Obama's largest failure was foreign policy. He hurt American dominance and allowed foreign leaders to take advantage of us. Now, President Trump is reminding the world that we are the global superpower. The tough tactics of President Trump are forcing China to abandon their longtime ally, North Korea. Instead, they are supporting America in our attempt to rein in the rogue nation. Via CNN. China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Liu Kang praised President Trump in recent statements, vowing to work with American officials to disarm the nuclear capabilities of North Korea. China would never have ceded to the limp wrist approach of the Obama administration. North Korea has been ramping up their aggressive testing of nuclear devices since their military parade, which was held last week. The despotic regime vowed to continue with weekly missile tests, though America has demanded they stop. Now, China has sided with America in the quest to prevent North Korea from becoming a full-fledged nuclear power, which would be dangerous for the whole human race itself. President Trump is able to convince China to work with us by promising more favorable trade deals for their cooperation. The phone call between Trump and Taiwan is also looming large in the minds of Chinese officials. China's primary concern is working with us while preventing the outbreak of war. If the Korean peninsula engages in open fight, China will be flooded by refugees that they would be unable to support. Despite the efforts of China, North Korea has shown no signs of backing down. They vow to continue to develop nuclear weapons and they have not stopped engaging in military parades or exercises after being scolded by China. President Trump has deployed the nuclear-propelled supercarrier USS Carl Vinson around the Korean peninsula. The massive vessel has been joined with Japanese and South Korean military officials, and the three countries continue military exercises in the region. Our allies South Korea and Japan are both vulnerable to attack by North Korea, who currently has the capability to bomb both of them. Chinese officials say they are maintaining close contacts with American military officials in the region. Let's hope they continue to stay on our side. Did you support this move? Please share the story on Facebook and tell us what you think, because we want to hear your voice. Look, Trump invites very special guest to White House that'll have supporters cheering. Only a week ago, aid worker Rai Hijazi was marking yet another day in the almost 3 years she has spent in an Egyptian prison awaiting trial on bogus charges. On Friday, she was the guest of honor at the White House, after President Donald Trump was quietly able to convince Egyptian authorities to release Hijazi, who holds American and Egyptian citizenship. "We are very happy to have Aya back home," Trump said during a brief Oval Office photo op with Hijazi, who returned from Egypt late Thursday. "It's a great honor to have her in the Oval Office with her brother." Trump praised Hijazi for showing great strength during the time she was in prison. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said Trump directly engaged behind the scenes and raised the issue privately with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Spicer said Trump made clear how important it was to him that Hijazi be released. "Today, the president is proud to be welcoming her back to the White House and happy that she is back home on American soil," Spicer said. Hijazi flew back to America on a U.S. military plane accompanied by Dinah Powell, the Deputy White House National Security Advisor for Strategy. "It's been a roller coaster of emotions the past couple of days," Basil Hijazi, Aya Hijazi's brother, said Thursday. "We're crying with relief to have them out. We're very grateful that President Trump personally engaged with the issue. Working closely with the Trump administration was very important for my family at this critical time. It let us be reunited as a family. We're so grateful," he said. Trump had become aware of Hijazi's case in January, and had been seeking to have her released since then, Spicer said. Hijazi had been held without trial for 33 months on human trafficking charges. Although the Obama administration had sought her release, that administration's pleas were rebuffed by Egyptian officials. On Sunday, Hijazi was formally acquitted of all charges by an Egyptian court, which also released 7 other people who worked with street children. Those included her husband, who had been jailed